Yeah, I was like, oh, he's Batman. You gonna break out your cape?
That's what I'm
I
saying.
was like,
This show just has like a bunch of. It just seems like a bunch of ideas. Like, oh, I want this, and this. Now let me try to make something out of it.
yeah, it's not cohesive enough, and its thought process or linear.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Herbal Synergies, the shop. I'm your host Sinji. With me, my co-host, as always, Bay.
What up?
What's up, Herbie? Tell me how you doing, dog.
Shit, the use.
You living life or life living you?
Life always living me, baby.
Nah, sometimes you living life, dog.
I ain't lived life since before the plague.
Mm-mm-mm.
Yeah, that's my favorite euphemism.
Did, did life give you a flavor this week?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with
Wait, hold on. Somewhere in my notes, I put, I think this might be Herbie's flavor. And if I can find it real quick, I want to see if that's it. And I think it's in. Is it in Black Summoner?
nope.
Nope.
But
All right. I
I,
don't.
I,
I
I
don't
put
think. I don't think
I,
it's.
I probably had a moment from there though, but I was gonna go with Horion riding my boy Rack, and then when they land, she's standing on him like he's a surfboard.
Mm.
I thought it was pretty funny. But the moment you probably thought I would like is the Getsugo Tensho slash from Black Summoner.
Gets potential slash.
Yeah, he did like the little wind whip scythe when he was fighting the
Nah,
former
that.
knight.
Nah, it was a funny moment. I was thinking that you might
Oh
pick.
shoot. I was like, man, my man did the Getsugo Tensho.
Yeah.
I was like,
Um. I might see it in my notes eventually. I just don't know where it could be. I should have like
you'll
highlighted your
never
name or
find.
something.
Yeah. I always put stars next to my noteworthy flavors of the week.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, what's your flavor?
I don't really have a flavor this week. I mean, I could
Damn,
give it up to Hajime no Ippo when on
no
Takamoto's debut
seasoning.
match. They
Yeah,
showed how he first got into boxing and um when he first got in the ring, he won by KO in 25 seconds.
it's longer than I would last.
Damn.
Yeah,
So what you trying to
yeah.
get into off the bat?
I'm trying to get into some trouble and make it double.
To protect the world from devastation.
Nah. So, I think we should get into a little bit of. Let's just go ahead and get Future out the way because I feel like that was a letdown.
You know, I really like the concept of the show, but I can't get behind the whole Power Ranger thing.
It's not Power Rangers, it's like
It's
Max
not, but
Rider,
it might as well
yeah.
be a Power Ranger.
Yeah, I mean, back in the day, they had. I think he was part of a trio or something. Cause I remember the suit from back in the day. I was like, oh, I remember the show. But yeah, it's. I wish they would do a little bit more of detecting and supernatural detecting versus. It did to me. This just feels like an anime where you would put it on in the background and listen to it or do something.
Mm-hmm.
Like it doesn't fully grasp my attention the way it should. Like how the the Moriarty show. I was like, oh, this is really interesting because they were doing like detecting and going doing stuff. I was like, oh, it's progressing like this. Or Was it the Arya Scarlet Letter? That one was a nice one. They did some detecting and doing some stuff. I was like, oh, it grasped my attention. But this one, I'm kind of like, eh, struggling, struggle bus on this. But yeah, what did you like about the concept?
Just I don't know. It had like
Potential that I feel like it hasn't
yeah, I feel like
mastered
it
yet.
does have some potential. It's just I don't know. I don't know what they definitely could have done something different, but overall it's underwhelming.
Yeah, like it's like they're still trying to get the grasp of the show they actually want to do.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
cannot find this little side note where I wrote this might be your flavor for the life of me.
Well, you
'Cause I
probably
want to
figured
remember
out.
the scene more than anything.
Yeah,
But
you'll remember it one day.
yeah, you go ahead and do the rundown of Futo Pie.
So, so they basically they're in the realm still, and people are attacking them, and they run, and like the witch shows up, and turns out, yeah, Philip stops them, and they were in the shadow realm, and then they end up back at the crime scene. You know, the boss is still upset, and apparently there's these little things like memory crimes, or, or they look like little flash drives,
Mm-hmm.
and they turn humans into monsters, and they're like, oh, token me may have used one. So that's one of their theories. And the clown's like, oh, I'm done with y'all. I want y'all to butt out. And he's like, oh, just give me more time and I'll find her. And then this one seemed kind of cool how Philip searches cosmically and he comes up like it's like a infinite wisdom room of information where he has access to. So like he ends up getting gets results 153 results, uses some keywords to narrow it down. The keyword he uses high temperature, and I got bingo Charlie, as in he figured it out. So I think they try to say that she's a road, and in order to maintain like that world that she was in, human matter is needed. And I had a note here for myself. I was like, I'm not really sure that was her killing everything. Don't know why. I just didn't have a feeling.
Hmm.
And, and then, so then a strange monster stumbles out and he's like, I'm hungry and this and that and the other. More time elapses and there's this middle schooler named Akira that the guy knows, detective. I forget his name. It eludes me. But he ends up gathering some information about how kids hear the rumors and the legends. Because you know how in middle school you can spread all sorts of stuff.
Yeah.
So that's what they do. And he used the rumor to track her down, and apparently she likes trees. And the clients are there. I'm like, oh, he found her too. But mind you, I'm wondering how the heck did he find her?
Yeah, I have no idea. It's like, why is he there? How do you figure this out?
Yeah, I'm like, he's not. Yeah, I'm like, I don't think he's that smart to do that, but I don't know his character because he's like,
Yeah,
you've
if you
only
could do
seen
that
him
from
like
the
a handful
beginning,
of
why the hell would
times.
you go to the detective agency?
Yeah, like that part just didn't make sense. I could see if like he was following Futo everywhere, but then what would I say about uh well his name's Shinturu, I think, right? Yeah.
Shuta?
Yeah,
Or
shoot or
Shut?
something.
Are we
Shoot
talking about the
Toro
main
or
guy?
yeah,
Shutaro?
yeah.
Or Shotaro? Shotaro, I think it's
Yeah.
Shotaro.
Yeah, but then if he could follow him there, then like how good of a detective is he to know that someone's like not eavesdropping on him, but shadowing him? Because
Yeah.
that would mean he's a pretty bad detective if he doesn't notice a tail. So then
But that guy
um
definitely ended up there first.
he did.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, I don't understand. So so then the road monster comes out and attacks them, and then like he does this special trick and like teleport saves them. And then my man Shotaro has a Batman tunnel. I was like, oh, what are you, Bruce Wayne now? Did you see that?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. I
Because
was
I
like, this
thought he
man,
was going to. I thought he was immediately going to the water fountain after she said it's bath time. And then he stopped
yeah.
and ended up underground. Like, what the fuck just happened?
Yeah, I was like, oh, he's Batman. You gonna break out your cape?
That's what I'm
I
saying.
was like,
This show just has like a bunch of. It just seems like a bunch of ideas. Like, oh, I want this, 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 and this. Now let me try to make something out of it.
yeah, it's not cohesive enough in its thought process or linear. I'm kind of like, where are you going with this? Like, this doesn't make sense. But I do enjoy Akiko. She she's like the funny linchpin. I like the comic relief.
Yeah, not
Um,
enough of Kiko in this episode.
yeah. So then they get into like an argument, and he's like, "Oh, I want to face Tokumi by myself." And he's like, "There's something about her that's bothering me." And I know what he's thinking. He's like, she's not really a killer. So then he finds her and asks her if she's a killer. And apparently she has amnesia, and she doesn't know who she is and why she's always hungry. And she has to find something in that shadow realm that they were in.
Mm-hmm.
And she can sense when the hunger guy's coming, because she's like, oh, the hungry guy's coming. And this is when we find out that her flash drive is broke, so she couldn't be the killer. And it turns out to be one of the mobsters. And then Philip shows up and they save him. And
I'll tell you what's the real crime here. The real crime is Shotaro is about to steal Shuta's girl.
yeah, but the client,
Yeah.
yeah, probably. Um, but yeah, so then they show up and they do the Cyclone Joker and their Cayman Rider. They morph into one being. I'm like, huh, interesting. Yeah, that was that. I probably gonna take that one out of rotation
Give
for
it a couple
something
more
more.
tries.
I might watch it when it comes out like 10 seasons.
And it's in English.
Yes.
I mean, fair. Fair.
Yeah, because that it's it's not hard to follow, but it's like, dang, like what are you doing with this? Like
Mm-hmm.
I don't feel like it requires a whole bunch of attention per se. I mean, they're still figuring it out. I probably should watch the third one because it's given more than Gintama got, because that show was god awful.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, people keep saying like if you make it past the shit, it's a really really good show. And like I've seen funny moments from Gintama, but like it's just like that first episode was so. Actually, I think we were doing three at the time. Were we doing one? How many
It
did
was three.
we got? Oh my god, it's even worse. 3 episodes and like you didn't hook me. That's you need to. I think I heard somewhere before that a show has 3 episodes to get you hooked.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
essentially, a show, an anime has like an hour to get you into it.
I mean, this show, it's not bad, but it's like, I feel like I could watch some other exhilarating stuff
Yeah,
right
yeah.
now.
Like I said, I like some of the concepts. I just think it was poorly put together, executed
Yeah.
badly.
I was like, because you go from having a magical being to all of a sudden now y'all just a mass writer.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what?
Just to go over the second season of How Not to Summon a Demon Lord? Because I don't think you're watching it.
Nah.
There was a couple of moments that would have been your flavors had you watched it with a new character named Horn.
Hmm.
And basically, what ended up happening was Diablo took everyone to a dungeon he created because that dungeon happens to be in this world. And
Huh?
since he didn't have access to the dungeon, he had to get through all the floors and the puzzles and the traps. Well, they finally get to the bottom of the dungeon, and Horn, which is a new character, had to really use the bathroom and ended up pissing in a chalice. Well, later on, when they're in trouble, a fairy appears from the chalice and it's like, since you already gave me a delicious, your delicious blood, I can level you up. But the level failed, and then Horn thought back and was like, oh my gosh, she thought I gave her blood. And like the fairy actually drank Horn's piss, and he's like,
That's
I'm never gonna
so
tell her.
gross. Yeah.
And then a second time, like they found a way to level her up, and ultimately she had to become a servant of Diablo by putting on a collar, which boosted her power, and it also gave her the ability to charm. So like the whole, if you act cute, any man will fall for your gaze or whatever, right?
Hmm.
And this girl kind of grew up pretending to be a boy, so like acting girly is not her forte. So she was like hating it, and the fairy goddess was like, maybe I'll call you manslayer. And she's like, I don't want that shit.
Yeah.
Couple things that you would have enjoyed after the smut,
Maybe. Yeah.
because there was a lot
Maybe.
of smut.
Yeah. I know.
Yeah.
A whole bunch of smut.
One of the episodes was not subtle. It was like, I'm gonna make you want to stay, and we're gonna do
Mm,
this all night. I master everything I do. I'm like, whoa.
yeah. Too much smut for the boy. Nice wholesome, man.
Yeah, yeah,
No, I'm kidding.
it'd be like that. So
Shoot.
let's talk about. Uh, you wanna talk about Black Summoner now?
Yeah, we're going to talk about Black Summies.
Ooh,
Yeah. So my boy, Sheen, no, it's
Kelvin.
Kelvin.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Kelvin. He starts um, researching abilities and what to do, and he wants to get a new ability, concealment. It's currently like rank D, but basically that ability allows him to hide um, stuff. So then he goes back to the guild hall, and he goes from an F rank to an E rank, which I feel like is I I think it's kind of, is that backwards or no, it's not. It's going up some way because it just feels like when you say E, it feels like different.
Feels like
Because I
E
think
should
it's
come because
after F.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's because of the grading system, our grading system.
yeah. I was
You
like,
go from D to F.
yeah, it feels kind of weird. I was like, did he go backwards? I was like, I don't know.
Why do we go from D to F?
I don't know, man. I wasn't alive during this time where
Hmm.
that was decided.
And what's weird is the structure of the gaps between aren't like fair. You know what I mean?
What do you mean?
The space where you can land in the failure zone is
Uh,
significantly greater than the other grades.
yeah, you talking about how it's only like 1 to 93 is an A, and then 92 to like what 84 is a B or something.
Mm-hmm. And then
Yeah,
and F is like, well, when I was growing up, and F is like 59 below. It's like, oh, okay.
yeah. I'd say yeah. They I think they redid it now where 100 to 90 is an A, and they just do it by tens. So I was like, huh, lucky kids. Cause I definitely under this new scale, I would have had straight A's.
Lucky ducks.
Yeah. So. But yeah, so this is my boy. They're like, oh, you're really strong. And it's like you've been leveling up without a party. And I would think that's so interesting. Like, oh, look at that guy. And this is when I first noticed some random guy chilling in the cut. And I was like, who's this random guy just chilling here looking sideways, glances at my boy? I said, he looks like a villain.
He
He's
just gave off douche vibes.
yeah, I was like, he's trouble. And so yeah, he starts talking to him. I think his name is Cashel.
Casho.
Yeah, and apparently newbies that go out with him don't survive or come back. And my man uses a praise on him, and he has the title of murderer. I'm like, ooh, okay, so he's a killer. Why? So he doesn't join them, but he's like, I'll challenge you to a friendly wager. And apparently, going through the guild hall, there was a thing of the Black Knight, and they're like, yeah, whoever defeats him first is the winner. So yeah, and then they get out of the guild hall, and we find out that the guy just likes crushing people. And I'm like, why does he want to crush people? And then so I thought to myself, I could talk to our resident villain, Sinji, as to why my man would murder people. Can you give us some insights on that?
If I had to speculate as to why, other than the thrill and like him not being able to, them not being able to do anything to him because we later find out he's a noble from a foreign country. So politically speaking, you can't really touch him without probable cause and proof. I think it's to ensure that he remains in top. Like if he instead of like he targeted Kelvin because Kelvin made rapid progress and upgraded quickly. And like in this world, I have to assume that because the elf girl used skill points also later on, that everyone can use skill points and everyone can level up. So as a possible threat, he probably eliminates people with potential now if they seem like they can be a problem later.
No, that's not the reason, though.
Oh, my bad.
No, I just was poking some fun at you for some villainy
Damn.
because you're a villain. Because my man would have destroyed some stuff, so someone else couldn't get stronger.
I thought hard about that answer too, Doug.
No, they told you later on why he did what he did
Oh, why'd he do what he do? I didn't catch that.
because he thought that defeating players versus the animals and stuff would give him more XP
Oh, I
quicker.
I think that's just what Kelvin assumed.
Yeah, I mean that's what I'm going by. Because I
Mm.
mean it's the only thing that makes sense. Because if you think about it, when you when you do those RPG games, when you fight the final boss, that gives you way more experience than all the little small fry.
True.
So I mean, it's great rationale, but I don't see. But then again, it could just be he just wanted to be top dog always. Because wasn't he the top adventurer?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it could be.
No
Maybe
one
we're
would stick
both
up to
right.
him or anything.
Yeah, maybe we're both right. Who knows?
Huzzah.
But that's what I think, though. It makes sense with XP. So yeah, there you have it, folks. You learn from your resident villain about why he does what he does.
Damn.
So then we get to the fight. My man cleared out the whole area before they got there, and they're going to fight. And he traps Baldy in a mud pit, and the Clotho evolved into a slime Platunia with the title of Devourer, and he's a demon king monster. I'm like, oh snap, my man's real strong. So he ends up defeating all those people, ties them up, bounds them, and after seeing the night, he's like, I want you to join me. And then we get the former night story of what he's been doing and why he's doing it, and he just recently developed a consciousness. And then the night use gets to go Tensho, and this is when the whole animation style just changed. I was like, this looks weird now, and we get the nice backstory. Gerard, and he's from what Malfia,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. And then so episode 3, a secret shared with the guild and a slave girl.
Ooh la la.
Yeah. So on this episode, I thought it was a little different how they didn't go for the slave girl right away. Because normally when you see foreshadowing like that, it happens within like the next episode or shortly thereafter. I was like, oh, that they did a little touch of waiting because I guess it's kind of like anticipatory hype.
Mm-hmm.
Because like she was like, oh yeah, they're gonna get her. When they're gonna get her, and then gives you something to look forward to.
Sometimes.
Yeah. So then his celebration in the guild hall, he encounters the guild master, and he's like, "Oh, where did you come from? Perhaps another world?" I was like, "Ooh, he figured him out."
Right away.
Yep. And the guild master praises him and asks where he's from, and like
The guild master kind of OP, dog.
he is,
All his skills were either rank S, A, or B.
yeah. So then he knows he's a summoner, and then he he's like, "Oh, why didn't you take out Cashel when you knew he was doing bad things?" He's like, "Oh, well, he's a noble, so that makes things tricky doing stuff." And I'm like, "Yep, that would do it. Politics." And so, essentially, what the guildmaster wants Kelvin to do is to protect the people while the heroes fight the Demon King. And then they asked him why he hid that he was a summoner. And I think Kelvin's a rank S already or something. He was saying
He was saying he has
rank S skills or something.
yeah.
Yeah.
Melfina
So
said something about that in the first episode. That
yeah,
the highest um skill summoner is like rank B.
yeah,
So he's the
low,
strongest summoner in this world.
low.
But then we learned that like Leo has met other people that Melfina has summoned into this world, reincarnated.
Yeah,
The heroes of the Empire or some shit.
yeah. So yeah. So apparently, there's a prophecy of the demon lord got reincarnated. That's why I was worried. And then he goes about a half elf. We find out that she's cursed. And her name's Ethel. Then my man breaks the curse after he goes and levels up high enough to do so. And I had a thought here. How did they put the cuffs on her and she can't be touched like that?
You probably don't need
I
to
mean,
actually touch her to do it.
but why would she willingly put her hands in cuffs?
Well,
I
actually,
wouldn't.
she's been um she's been a slave since she was born.
Yeah, but still, like you would have to. At some point, she would outgrow her cuffs. So in the process of
Mm-hmm.
getting bigger, I would like, no, I'm not putting my hands in there.
Well, I also think it was had something to do with so like she's been a slave and cursed since she was born, and she doesn't know her parents or anything like that. I think it just has something to do with like she felt even though she wanted people to take interest in her, as you saw later, she was too frightened to even touch people. So like, I think even though she probably didn't want to be a slave, she also didn't want to set anyone on fire.
Yeah, that makes sense. So yeah, so he breaks the curse, and I feel like he overpaid a little too much for her.
Yeah, you know what? He probably could have got her off the cheap because
Yeah,
he couldn't tell her. I was like, damn, my man's not a shrewd businessman.
yeah, because I was like, you definitely could have freed some more slaves.
I don't think he cares about the slaves.
I would have freed them all.
The only thing
I
that
would,
actually caught his eye with that girl is that she had no skill points used.
yeah, I would have been Henry Tubman.
Did it mention
Yeah.
what skill she picked?
Um, all the skills that he had, and then he said she wanted to know what other skills she should pick. He's like, no, you got to make your own decisions. So they didn't
Yeah, I knew about the
say,
double XP and the double skill points, but I don't recall picking too much after that.
yeah. So that's what she had to do. He gave her her own autonomy to do things. So,
Yo, Claire passes the vibe check. Automatically put her in a maid outfit.
uh,
It's like,
would
damn.
have been nice putting in some nice little stuff.
I know, some like adventuring clothes or something. Put her in a fucking maid outfit. I'm like, damn.
Nice little pantsuit. Something easy to move in.
Hey, but Claire passes the vibe check, man. She a homie.
Shoot. Yeah, and she had give him the two-bedroom. He was like, "Yeah, I want a room with extra bed." She was like, "Oh, we only got the one."
My man couldn't sleep, bro. Too much pressure.
She could have put another bed up in there, a little cot on the floor.
Someone could have slept on the floor.
Yeah, she just didn't want to do that for the boy.
Hey, they both still slept in the same bed. Although, Phil probably is more than happy to sleep in the same bed.
Dude, my man needed his sleep so he could rest and be a strong adventurer. And you got the man up worried all night.
I like how Gerard, who's a real homie, um, I wonder if the candy scene is what I thought might have been your flavor. When he gives him the
Maybe.
candy, it's just like, oh, this is terrible. I'm like, I don't know how old it's been. I'm a little creeped out that you ate it.
Yeah, he was like, I just did it to be nice.
It kind of, I saw, yeah, I sucked. It sucked that, I think he was carrying his dead daughter and offering her candy.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
was a little sad moment.
But, Gerard's a homie, dog.
Yeah. I like his character.
I wonder if we'll ever be able to hear Clofo, who, I don't know if we mentioned, between episode 1 and 2, he evolved into,
I did.
you did?
Yeah. I already said he was a demon class monster.
Yeah, bro. Yo, where'd I put the note? It's hard to keep track since you're talking. I don't read my notes too much because then I can't pay attention to you.
You gotta learn how to do both, baby.
Yeah, no, it doesn't work. I
Works for
after
me.
I read all that, I was like, this motherfucker evolved straight to a demon class monster. That's cheap as fuck. This game's rigged.
Yeah, it's gotta be.
Fucking hell. Although it doesn't fall far behind from what we know slimes to do. Wink, wink.
I mean, but that's a whole different slime, though. If Clothos
That's
got a whole
the
different
slime.
form, yeah. If Clothos got a form where it could meld into a human and talk and such, I'd be like, okay, straight out of slime.
Mm.
Yeah. So, what you wanted to get into next? Switching up the temperature.
Now we can get into. We can talk about Wise Man's grandchild.
The wiser man.
Okay, so Wise Man's grandchild. Episode 4: The Name of the Instigator. So in the beginning of the episode, everyone's contemplating on like how Douche Kurt became the way he was because Demonoids are not supposed to have their reason, their mind intact, but Douche Kurt did have his mind intact indeed, which leads Shin to believe that they were, what's the word they use?
Artificially created
Artificially
humanoids.
created, and King Adesium was actually willing to take his word for that because they had a meeting about it later. But I love how Shin, Merlin, and Melida are like hide, 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 while Decium and August are just like expose, expose, expose.
Yeah. I
But
mean,
Go ahead.
It kind of being a king, you would like people to know that you have someone strong here that y'all don't want to mess with
Mm-hmm.
to stop people from invading. Yeah,
Oh,
it goes. It's like that that adage, like uh, speak softly but carry a big stick.
mm-hmm.
So it's like we got the weapons, but we would rather not yell and scream to resolve things. So don't mess with us because we got them bombs.
True. So in the course of all this, Decius ordered the people in the round table to investigate. And while they're investigated, a couple people showed up at Strom's, I guess, apartment, house, wherever he's staying. My man was sipping on tea.
It's abode.
And they were questioning him. And then he name dropped Kurt. And they asked him to help them run experiments because they heard he was powerful. Well, they lead him into a trap. And he's like, and they're like, you made one fatal mistake. The king issued a gag order on the whole incident. So how did you know his name? Man didn't even try to make an excuse. He just broke character immediately. He started laughing and was like, I'm experimenting on humans. Blah, blah, blah. Well,
Yeah.
while our group of guys are walking down the street, explosion. Strum was overpowering everyone in there, and then our boy Shin Wolford stepped into battle.
Sure enough. Leapt into action.
Leapt into action, man. And I like okay, so like here's the thing with these new shows. Like this fight scene, really good. The fight scene between Gerard and Kelvin seemed really low budget. It seemed like they cut the budget on that.
They did.
We had the moving dolls from Overlord, and I was like, oh my god, this looks the same as like when the army thing happened and Chief Sword Guy died.
Yeah.
Whatever. It was still a good fight. But this was also a good fight. And Shin broke Strom's eye covers, and they figured out that he's actually a demonoid who gave up his human rights and gave up on humans entirely and will continue to experiment on them. So Shin's letting off attacks, and Strum's taunting him and saying, "Is that all you got?" And it's like, "If you stay there longer, you'll see what I'm really capable of." And then you see like 5 or 6 huge magic circles in the sky, and Shin unleashes a ray of heat from the sun, concentrated heat from the sun, and down on Strum, which everyone assumes Shin vaporized Strum, but we seasoned anime watchers and manga readers know that he wasn't dead. You knew, right, Irby?
I had no idea.
What? Nah, you knew.
Shoot. Yeah, I was like, is he really dead though? Because there's no body.
Plus, Shin himself said, "Where did the explosion come from? Would simple light from the sun create an explosion like that?"
The answer is no.
Yeah, the answer was no.
He did that himself to stay alive.
So that was a good episode. I'm excited to see the next one.
Yeah. This is
Just
a
a
great one.
bunch of hide, 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 expose, expose, expose. Oh, Shin just solved another problem. I
Oh
did
no.
I did mention that that girl, what's her name? Give me a moment. I will find it. I think her name is
Sicilian.
Yuri.
Yuri.
Yuri had a Shira moment with Diablo where she like pushed them puppies all against all near Shin, and then Cecilia was clearly not happy about that.
Yeah. Sure wasn't.
But that is that episode. You want to get into some T.O. Jizzle?
Jizzle, jizzle, flizzle, slizzle. Say what?
On what?
So, in this week's installment of Tower God Season 3, episodes 100 to 107.
Herbie, you're going to catch up before I even know it because Tower God is on a hiatus.
Yeah, dog, that's okay.
Yeah.
So
You're gonna catch up.
yeah, that's okay. So
Is
my man Bam is going to be arrested by the forces there, but Asensio steps in and stops him. Essentially murders most of them or knocks them out. I don't know. It's unclear. And Machini, she tells Jinsung that Bam has chosen to be imprisoned instead of him. And Avonkel cleared her field and is going to the finish line. And the love guy, the little fast little guy, he gets all webbed up by Sikaris, the spider with twist locks. So Avonkel is fighting Sikaris. Uh, I thought it was a nice touch here that he used like her webs to slow her down with the fire,
mm-hmm.
because apparently they caught fire before uh, they would get to him, so it slowed down her fire blast. I was like, oh, man's fighting smart. So then some more minions show up to help, and so they're pretty much doing like a war of attrition against Ivankill because she just keeps slaughtering small fry to get where she goes. And then Sakaris' mom shows up to save him, and it's what's it, Mizan or something? I don't know. But essentially, she's the Lopobia White Garment Widow,
Mm-hmm.
and then we find out about some other Lopobia leaders. I think it's Orari. He's the man, and Yorari. He's the snake, and the snake is the leader. I don't know. I guess he had a form. He took that form for some reason. Who knows? And then there's a soldier that's alive, and he informs him that Bam and the crew is on the way, and it's not ginseng that's in the little pod. I was like, oh snap! So
I
so
feel like you're
then
so close, but like I
yeah,
just
so
checked, and
far
there's still like 30 episodes chapters between us.
yeah, I know.
And it's
I
hard to
beat it in
imagine
like
that I
three
read that
weeks.
30 weeks ago.
Yeah, it happens. So then we find out that Lefebvre and her family are members. Uh, the two family members they're about to start the battling. And then my man Hanson gets two-piece by the boy family member that's there. Got one more piece in Luffy. Yeah, so and then we find out that the spider has a shield. Back to Avankel's field. The spider has a shield that's a unique treasure from the gift. And then she proceeds to spear Avankel. I was like, no, she wasn't
Yeah,
ready.
she better get ready.
Yeah. And I'm like, oh man, throws her on the ground, bleeding out, falling out, like, oh no. And then we flash to Caliban. And he has two turns left to complete his fight and his chance. And Chione is going to talk with the person she's fighting, and that person's trying to get her to take a rest to save Caliban. She's like, no, I got to save him. The- And the Catwoman has a skill that causes people to want to rest. And then we get to the Catwoman's childhood, where she wanted to be strong, and her friends were racing, and she's like, I don't want to be left behind and last. So she ended up showing out, and they found out that she was really strong. But the stronger she got, the lonelier she got. And then we get to Chione's childhood, and she always wanted to be a soldier. She trained hard, and her father was a courtesan. So I guess they're lowly creatures in that hierarchy. And she always wanted to find her mother so that she can make them see reasoning or whatever. And so one day she goes to this building, and her father begged the main family to admit her to her training, and she was like, "Oh, he didn't tell me to stop." trying because he didn't want me to do it. He did it because he knew because of who he was that she would never be in a position to be where she wanted to be. Which is noble, but not noble. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense, Doug.
Does it? Do you even know what I just said?
About the girl trying to be in the family but doesn't want to be in the family, and then you said, "Is it noble but not noble?" Does it make sense?
Yeah. But who's the girl?
Chia, you talking about Chionhi?
Okay. So you learn how to read and listen. Or you just listening?
I'm listening, dog.
Okay. I'm just checking in there. So yeah. So she found out the reason why he was rejected because of his status and eventually she got in and now she never wants to let anyone down that believed in her because her father knew she was great, but he knew because of who he was that she never could get there with her full potential. So Cat Lady gives her a mouse, tells her to get out of her sight and never come back. And she gets there, and now Caliban can jump. And then we flash back to Leboric's place with Hansung and Lefebvre. He wants Lefebvre to come back because she has some nice abilities. Then Commander Caliban shows up. My man gets attacked by the lackeys and he just dispatches them pretty easily. And then Leboric wants to have Caliban rejoin, but Caliban refuses because he only serves jihad and thoughts of a commander willing to throw away lives of his subordinates for his own gains doesn't really appeal to him. But then I was thinking, ain't that what jihad does?
Yeah.
Like, if they ain't the pot calling the kettle black, I'm like, that makes absolutely zero sense because he throws all y'all into the fire. I throws y'all away just so he could remain king of the tower and do what he has to do. But
Yes,
like,
sir.
you can't see that king. You
Nah,
can't
he's
see what that
stupid.
man's doing to you.
He dumb.
Yeah, it makes no sense. Like, come on. Like, Bam even sees that, and Bam's not the sharpest tool in the shed, but he getting sharper though.
Yeah, he's getting sharp.
Yeah. So yeah, I also thought that might not be in Caliban's character development yet to see how he's being used.
You don't think so?
Well, not at this point, but eventually he'll probably be like, they was right about King Jihad.
I followed the wrong path. Now I will fight with Fug.
Yeah, I'll fight with Bam to make things how they should be.
Yeah, Tower Guy has a habit of converting enemies to allies.
I'll say on that Naruto, huh?
Yeah.
Dang. So so then um so Rick throws a spear at Caliban, he catches it, throws it back, and fighting starts, and Rick tells him he's been doing dirty work in the background. That's why he's so strong. It's like, you thought I just got here just because my family names or some favors? It's like, no, King, I'm about that life. And he's like, yeah. He's like, that's why my rank is low enough for this. And so I'm fully qualified for the job. So then Rick, he pulls out a weapon, and we find out that it's just a regular spear, but he injects lightning into it, which is an odd spin on some things. So essentially, anything that he wants to, he can make a weapon. He can make quarters, dimes, and nickels weapons.
But
I
will it
might not.
always work?
I mean, if you throw something fast enough, it's going to do damage.
True.
So that might actually be a nice electric ability to have.
It ain't beating Bam though.
It might beat him at some point.
Nah, it ain't beating Goku though.
Nah, I ain't being Goku. Ain't no way. So so then more fighting, and Bam reaches the suspendium, and a voice is calling out to them. I'm like, oh, he's hearing voices in his head. I think he's schizophrenic. And then they end up getting attacked by Orari and Yorari, I guess, and they fly away. And then Flash of Love on the other battlefield, he escapes his binding, and he uses a control that frees the hostages, and he frees them. And Yvonne Kill opens her eyes, and like there was a little different Flash there. And she said she pretended to be knocked out to surprise her and catch her off guard, then destroys the White Gate Stallion.
The white gay stallion.
Yeah, so then Rick's hitting Caliban with spears, and my man Caliban's just eating them. And then everyone's just marveling at the battle. And we found out that Rick can also control water and can conduct electrolysis. I'm like, oh, that's kind of like what they did
In
in
Jujutsu.
Jujutsu. Yep.
As soon as
And
you said it, I don't know why. As soon as you said electrolysis, I was just like, that's not what that person did.
yeah, no, you know why? Because there's similarities.
Mm.
So Lefebvre and Hansung, they're trying to destroy the gate, and she would use the Lefebvre Faust. It's a bazooka, and initially I thought she had destroyed the gate, but something had blocked it, and something happened with the mixing of Caliban Shinshu into electrolysis to make explosions, and Caliban ends up recovering fully somehow, and he developed a new power, and then he knocks Rick through the ship, and then the gate isn't actually destroyed because something blocked it, and the Ferb launches another attack, but Caliban stops it because Rick told him um, that like it was God's will or something, and to abide by the mission. I'm like, come on, dog. This man's saying whatever because you know it make you tick, what you finna do. So, and then the family leader's coming out, and Horion. This is when they were still flying, and Horion still riding Rack and riding the Mrs. Lance, and that's where I left off.
Not a bad place, I do, if I say so myself.
Yes, not too bad, not too great,
Not too shabby.
just a whelming place. So,
Now, shall we get into some tact OP?
yeah, dog.
Destiny. How do you pronounce that? Tact op.Destiny? Is that it? Or tact op Destiny?
Yeah, I thought his name was Tot.
His name is Tact.
Yeah,
Taka taka taka
yeah,
taka taka.
yeah. You're lucky I watched the right one.
Almost watched Peach Boy Riverside.
I would watch 86.
Okay, so episode 1, Conduct Creed. Just from the beginning, we're listening to a story about the mother on like things falling from the sky. It looked like people were getting powers or something. Then monsters falling in the sky from the sky, and then
Yellowstones and Blackstones.
musicaros. Is that what they're called?
Conductors or something.
There's conductors and what do they call cassette?
Uh, a musical being or something. I don't know.
A musiaro or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So from what we gather in the beginning, music attracts what they call D2s. And that's why the world
Destiny
doesn't play
2.
music anymore. But Tact is a musician who craves music, craves listening to music, wants to play music. Immediately when he sees a piano, starts playing it, it attracts a D2, and then Cassette shows up, kicks it, and then he does the arm thing where his arm disappears, and she hands him the conductor's wand thingy. What's the name for? Do you know what the name for that thing is?
I have no idea.
We're gonna call it the conductor's wand.
It might be the conductor's wand.
The conductor's wand. I like it. And then she transforms into her red dress with white hair, and that's when they start fighting. Apparently their energies are intertwined together. Like the amount of attack she does drains him, and like he also feels her. So it's kind of weird. But after they dispose of the first D2 that shows up, my man celebrates and just face plants into the concrete.
Yeah. And I was like, "Ooh, buddy."
Yeah, yeah. And then Anna shows up and say, "Get your ass up." And Cassette like picks him up and just throws him into the vehicle. Tells everyone to go about their business, sorry, and then they leave.
Yeah.
That's our crew. Tact, Maestro Tact, Anna, Cassette. And apparently there's a sister in New York named Charlotte.
Charlotte.
But the crew is heading towards New York, and Tact just wants to listen to music. They end up in this restaurant that was doing good for business, but then a monster nest, the D2s decided to make a nest nearby. And Heroes was a funny moment where, because Tact really wanted to listen to music, he just sent Cassette to go take care of him, and she was confident. And then when like he closed his eyes, I guess he could see what she was seeing. It's like, but this static, we're screwed. And then Cassette, Anna shows up, and Cassette comes out of like smoke and is like, I screwed up, and they both just face plant.
Yeah.
I
She's like
was like,
utter failure.
I was like, oh,
That was almost mine, but I ain't want to say that because I didn't know if I watched the right one. So I was like, I'll just fake it till I make it.
damn. Tact
Yeah.
op.Destiny.
Yeah.
So after that, they go back, they regroup, and like a lot of MCs, Anna can fucking put away some food. I don't know what she is exactly, but they're trying to go to New York to like make some modifications to her, fix her up, or whatever they want to do to her. So she's got to be some kind of like machinery or something, right?
I feel like she's something she's not human anymore, but she's still human, if that makes sense.
Almost like an android.
Yeah, like something happened because they did a flashback where he was like holding her and she looked like she was dying or something, but they might have made a pact or something to extend her life so that she could continue.
Hmm. Gotcha. Okay, so they formulate a plan, and in the middle of the plan, we go back to the little town where people feel safe now because they got rid of the D2s. Like, so it's okay to play the piano, right? And as soon as the kid's about to touch it, here comes Cassette. Just hoists it up, puts it on her back, and just goes jumping away. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, that was my other one too. I was like, that's pretty good.
Yeah, yeah. So then they plop the piano in the middle of the nest, and like he starts playing, and I'm just like, um, I was wondering like why the song start sounded familiar, so I looked it up, and it was Moonlight Sonata, and then after I found out it was Moonlight Sonata, I was like, now I'm wondering why I know the Moonlight Sonata.
I heard it from somewhere.
Yeah, it's probably everywhere.
Yeah,
But
musical ear.
the big bad D2 shows up, and they go in, and something happens with Tact. I don't know if you picked up why, but maybe you can explain to me, where like his skin started turning red.
Feel like it might be damage from the thing.
You
Um,
think they also share damage?
yeah, because you did you notice how he always loses an arm?
Mm-hmm.
So I feel
It's like her
like,
transformation is tied to his arm loss.
yeah,
I don't know. But
I,
she does this weird thing where her sword transforms again. And I've actually never actually seen her use that as a sword. She's always shooting with it. But it looks like a sword.
yeah,
Um, and she does this super blast, and the man says, "Let the sound be heard," or something like that, and then like blasts a hole through the thing. And then
yeah.
he starts playing music. Everyone is having a good time, and boom, we're back on our way to New York.
Yeah.
So on Irby, I'm gonna be honest. I like this more than I like Futo Pie. It's different.
Yeah. It's
I like the art style.
I like the music.
Yeah, the music's a good aspect. In a musicless world, we're gonna be hearing a lot of music.
Yeah. It's a nice one. I'm
But
not mad at it.
on a side note, real quick, I forgot to mention I watched the new Dragon Ball Super superhero movie. If you had any questions you wanted to ask.
Nah, I got no questions.
Okay, cool, 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 cool.
Go ahead and enlighten us about it.
That it was about as okay as a Gohan and Piccolo movie can do.
Dang.
Yeah, I mean they had a moment at the end. Okay, so we set up. This has nothing to do with the movie at all. We had Goku and Vegeta fight each other with no transformations or anything like that. No Kamehameha waves or anything. And it seems like they fought for 3 hours straight and finally tired each other out. And on the last hit that like barely had any strength to it, you know how when Sasuke and Naruto were just like barely throwing punches at each other towards the end? And they
Yeah.
just collapsed from exhaustion. That's pretty much what happened. But Goku fell first, and he's like, "All right, I give." And Vegeta had a moment. He's like, "I finally won. I beat him." I was like,
Yeah.
"Did you though?"
I mean, on the even playing field. Yeah.
Because Vegeta collapsed too. They were both just exhausted.
I mean, a win's a win, though,
Hey,
dog.
a win's a win. I understand. I get it. Broly and whoever the hell Broly was with was crying. Beerus was knocked the fuck out. Whis was like, finally.
Yeah.
It wasn't a bad movie. I don't even really like I don't like the fact they went completely CG with it all. But and another thing,
CG.
I didn't like I didn't like the length of Gohan's hair in the new transformation.
What?
Yeah, I don't think I like the length of it.
I'm gonna have to find out where to watch that at.
Mm.
Yeah.
I, I
So,
I wonder if there's a name for it yet, because I thought of a name while I was watching it.
hmm. Gohan Super Transformation 3.
No, I was just so like there's Super Saiyan Gohan, Super Saiyan 2 Gohan, Ultimate Gohan. This one I guess would be Rage Gohan.
Mm, Rage Gohan.
Yeah, he has like red eyes and silver hair.
Shoot, I'm
Almost looks a lot like what people thought the Super Saiyan 5 was gonna be back in the day.
it might be that form that they did with the what you call
What?
them when Vegeta got taken over by that Turtles guy.
Oh, and GT.
Yeah,
I mean,
could be.
he didn't have a baby in him, but it could be.
Yeah, I don't know, dog. I'm just coming up with stuff.
Also, they like there was a couple of things they did, and it was just like, why? Why would you even do that? Because they're probably not even gonna
Just
show them later on, so I don't understand why you would do that. Oh shit, we didn't talk about You want to save Dragon Ball Super and Boruto for next week, or you want to plop them in?
I mean, you already do the Boruto's real quick. I'll do that. So essentially, in this installment of Boruto, chapter 72, Armando calls to let them know that he's still alive and that Ida split from Code. And then we get a little moment of Boruto and Hinata. She's worried about Boruto not coming back from missions now. And I'm like, oh, touching. And Momo Moski shows up to remind Boruto of the despair he will face. And so then Code also he goes to the Ten Tails and like he adjusts it with his claw marks since his limiters are taken off. So he's trying to make it smaller, but apparently he just like cuts it up into pieces, and essentially it turns into the little claymans that they had before.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, huh, that's interesting. And that's about it.
Okay, Dragon Ball Super wasn't too much either. They were celebrating, and then Gas came out of nowhere, and he looked even worse than he did during the fight. And that's when what's the name of the guy, the leader?
Like,
Let. That's why when Let revealed that like he sacrificed pretty much all of Gas's life force, and that's why he had to end it there. And fucking Frieza shows up and kind of wipes him out instantly. And they're like, "Why were you able to take care of him? He should have been far stronger than you." And then Frieza was like, "Oh, I guess when he made that wish, I was in a different dimension. I found a realm where I can train for 10 years in a short amount of time." And that's when Frieza revealed his black form, which now makes anything he says not racist.
yeah. It's like, I'm black.
I'm black. I'm
Yeah.
black Frieza. So, Dragon Ball Super already set up its next arc. Whis shows up and heals the Namekian, and Frieza says, "I got other things to do right now. I'll leave you two for now." Which, what the fuck are you doing, Frieza? What? You can kill them right now, no problem.
Well, he has a flair for the dramatic.
Yeah, yeah. He's assuming that they won't get strong enough to beat him again.
Yeah. But there's a reason why we showed up when he did.
Mm-hmm.
So they're gonna get strong enough to get him. They're gonna be in the plane where they do 20 years in one day.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Do you age?
Nice little.
You only aged to the day, right? Even though you did 20 years.
I have no idea, but for some reason your hair can grow while you're in the hyperbolic time chamber for a year, but it's only been like a day. But then
Mm-hmm.
Saiyan's age differently anyway, and I feel like probably the same for Frieza. So
Oh, that made me remember something about the superhero movie that was kind of funny, because Trunks and Goten made an appearance and they almost look like teenagers, like the height of a teenager, and like
yeah,
Piccolo was just like, "Is that Goten and Trunks? I know it's been a while, but it hasn't been that long." And Gohan was like, "Yeah, us Sans, we stay small for a while, and then suddenly, poof, we're big."
yeah, because it was like that with
It was-
Goku when he was little.
yeah, yeah, and it was like that with Gohan, where like he was still a teenager, but suddenly he looked like he was in college.
Yeah,
I thought that
got
was
big
funny.
and tall. Yeah, maybe they'll get big here soon.
Yeah, maybe. But
Who knows?
that is about all of it. You got anything you want to go out on, Irby?
Nope, got nothing
I'm jumping
at
out the
all.
window with this one.
Got nothing at all. Do,
Fair,
do,
fair.
do,
All
do,
right,
do,
guys.
do.
That was this week's installment of Herbal Synergy. Please leave a like, a comment, subscribe, share wherever you listen to us. Spread the love, spread the anime, spread the weeb. Peace.
Peace.